Hello, I hope everyone is doing well. This is a reading, the first reading for uh, Capricorn for January of 2017. This is a general reading. If you have not already, please go look at my introductory videos and the videos explaining how each of my individual readings go and what the intent is behind these readings. Um, but other than that, let's just go ahead and get started. And just remember to sort of don't focus on being, impressed by me saying things that have specific meaning to your life. That's not really the point. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm trying to um, uh, put things in a perspective or in a certain light which you can possibly use to reflect, to self-reflect and see your own behavior, your own uh, aspirations and dreams and things, and do some self-assessment on whether you're working to achieve them or not. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, for the current situation, you're going to have the Ace of Swords. And this suggests that right now you're in a position where a new idea that you've worked very hard for, most likely, has come to the surface in a way where you have a choice or you have a chance to act on it. Your hard work and all the thought that you've put into this has now presented itself, and the idea is sort of yours to play with. You can take it where you want to go with it, or if you do nothing, then nothing will happen. What's crossing you right now is the Two of Swords, which is associated with having two options, two thoughts in your head. So this suggests that with this idea, whatever this new idea is or this goal that you're seeking to accomplish, you have either two choices about how to go about achieving this, or the choice could simply be to act or not to act. But what this is saying is that it's really up to you in this situation. If you do act, the signs are saying that you will be successful. That it's really going to be a matter of you just sticking to your will, and bringing about your ideas constructively. For your recent past, or I'm sorry, I did this reading a little bit backwards. Let me go ahead and draw these cards. Okay, so for your recent past, we have the Queen of Wands, which suggests that in the past you very, very diligently sort of looked after a principle or an idea or a way of living life, a theory toward manifestation, whether that be prayer, so faith that if you pray diligently, something will come to fruition. Or it could just simply be trusting that if you live your life in a day-to-day good way, that things will align in your favor, and the Queen of Wands energy suggests that in your past you've been doing this. You've been diligently working away, sticking to your guns, sticking to your ideology, and now this current situation, this new opportunity, is the sort of fruit of that labor. It's what's born here. But see, there's an extra step. It's not as simple as you sow the seed and then all of a sudden just the fruit falls into your lap. Like, there's still work that has to be done. You have to go out and harvest your fruit, and you have to, sometimes there's aging processes or things like that that have to be done as well in order for you to reap the full benefit. So keep that in mind. In the future, we see the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is very strongly associated with like fond memories, with nostalgia, a sense of, I don't want to say necessarily completion or it's not so much aristocratic in that all the struggles are behind us and we've done them all, you know. It's more of a sense of nostalgia that even though everything was maybe tumultuous or not perfect, it was all a very beautiful journey, you know. It was all part of growing up or living life or something like that. So this is in your future, you know. You're going to be feeling like this in your future. It's suggesting that this choice that you're making here, it has the potential to really bring about that sense of security that you crave as Capricorns, that sense of good family, home, you know. You can really achieve that now through whatever this situation, this new situation that's come up is. So that's a good thing. Look forward to that. In your subconscious mind, we have or your foundation, we have the Eight of Wands. And the Eight of Wands is really about being super determined, you know. So this suggests that really you've risen above the noise, the constant conflict of people telling you to do it this way or that way or whatever. You've managed to sort of block that out and really focus your energy into bringing about some goal or some vision, some manifestation, you know. So, bringing something from the mind into the physical reality, you know. And there's a strong sense of this in your subconscious, which means that things are going to align for you regardless of you forcing it or not. So there was a story about this guy who wanted to sail around the globe, and he accomplished the goal, but he found along the way that things were sort of conspiring in his favor. Like every now and then, or every morning, a flying fish would be sitting there on the deck of the boat ready for breakfast, or like the ropes would swell up in such a way that tightened them and made them more secure. Just things like this conspiring in your favor when you have the power of manifestation behind you. And this card suggests that you really do, that you have really strong will behind this that's going to make good things occur, kind of regardless of how the situation unfolds, you know. And your crowning thoughts, what's in your higher thinking, is the Queen of Swords. And again, that's associated with determination and being very confident in your thought process and what's led you to this situation. And it's about sort of blocking out all of these people. Everybody's going to come from the woodwork and say like, oh, you've got a good situation here, now here's how you need to do it, here's how you need to handle it. Well, what I'm seeing here is that you need to take a step back from these people. Keep in mind that their perspectives are a lot different than yours, and they obviously haven't had the tenacity to get to the point where you are, so be very careful about taking advice for them. This is really more about you've built this contraption yourself, you know. You've made this happen by trusting yourself and by trusting in certain core principles, and it's time to stick to those, not to question them. And in your current environment, or I'm sorry, your advice for the current situation is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is it's very similar energy that we're talking about here as the Queen of Swords, which is really asking you to be determined, to be focused, to not be led astray, to not be distracted. And it's all about, swords represent thought, and cutting thoughts sort of cut into the world around us and flesh out what reality is. But this is sort of, it can be a destructive process to its extreme, you know. Scientific discovery can, think about like animal tests or something like that, you know. Taken to their extremes, we can really mess things up simply by being curious or probing the world around us, you know. So that's why swords sort of represent thought, because like a double-edged sword, you know, it can accomplish one thing, but at the same time, you can also end up hurting yourself with it. So you have to be careful. For your overall, or for your environment, you have the World, which is sort of the completion of the karmic cycle. This is like full God realization, which means that in your environment, there are people, or there is at least some of this energy that suggests that everything is conspiring toward a greater plan, you know, that suggests that not only are you filling your part beautifully, but the people around you, because of the way that you're filling your part, are being inspired, whether they know it or not, to also fill their part and to sort of create justice and balance in the universe, you know. And because of that, you can trust the people around you. You can sort of delegate. You can understand that there's certain things that need to be carried on behind the scenes by others, and that's okay. You can let them do that. You stick with your part, which is the decision making here. This is a higher process for you. This is something where you're not going to be involved in micromanaging and delegation. You're going to be you're not going to be involved in micromanaging. You're going to be delegating. You're going to be giving up certain power and control. And the reality of that is it's actually going to give you more control, because what you're going to find is that these people have their own reputations to consider. They have their own, they want to look good as well. And when you trust other people to want to do the right thing, it's funny how you find you can trust people with more than you thought you could. And a lot of times just the fact that you're giving them that trust makes them more responsible with it, you know. But it really, you have to be careful, you know. You don't want to be taken advantage of, and you have to do things in a constructive or a planned and disciplined and constructed way, you know. So your fears card is the Tower, which makes sense. It suggests that right now that you're afraid you are creating an institution that will fall, you know. And that ties back into this whole situation. Whatever this opportunity or this decision you're making is, there's some anxiety in the back of your mind that you're laying a bad foundation, you know, that you're sort of making something that's destined to fall. And it's only because you're so close to achieving these goals that your mind's going there. If you simply focus on how close you are to achieving your goals and like sticking through, you know, sticking with what works, sticking with what got you here, you're not going to have to worry about that quite as much, you know. Everything does burn. Everything occurs in cycles. So there are going to be some disasters and things that occur along the way, but how those events affect you is up to you. You know, you can also use those as your most valuable opportunities for growth. So just remember to keep an outlook that serves you. I don't even want to say a positive outlook, but an outlook that serves you or serves your growth, or mankind at least, you know, something like that. And then your overall message is the Hermit, which again reinforces this idea that I keep saying: stick to your guns, stick to your ideas that have got you here. If you find that you're overwhelmed with opinions, unwanted opinions maybe, take some time to block those people out, or you know, go out of your way to limit your interaction with sources which you think are leading you astray in an important time in your life. You know, they'll be there when you get through this. You can block them out for a little bit. You know, just don't be too heartless about it. But we all need this period of reflection to assess how we're coming along in our goals, to assess how we're doing, you know. So be sure to take that time. I know you Capricorns can get very excited and wrapped up in what you're doing and forget to shift the wheel a little bit, to take balance, to take your personal time, to take your emotional well-being into account and your mental well-being into account. So, but other than that, it was a very, very good reading for you, very positive. Sounds like you're going through some exciting times, and Please let me know what you felt in the comments, or anything that you would like clarification with. I can try to do that. And I also am interested in doing other types of readings and things like that as well. So let me know if you are interested in those things, and it will make me a little more likely to get around to them. But anyway, until next time, we'll see you next month, and thank you for watching. Capricorns, have a good one.